Hey everybody, happy Friday. Welcome to this episode of DVTV in Space. We've got Israel Luna with us.
Hi.
And Brandy is with us. And Richard is here with us as our special guest today. So we're proud to have everybody
and
here.
And you're back.
And I am back.
Yay.
You're back. Yay. Tammy's back.
Having forced to watch belly dancers for 4 days.
That must have been real rough.
So
that had to be really hard for you.
It was a terrible, terrible thing. Only some of the best in the world. So, anyway, I am back, and we're going to talk about gay things, not belly dance things. Unless you want to talk about gay belly dance people.
Yes, I was going to say.
And there are some of
Yeah.
those.
Why
Yeah.
not? I think that's.
I was a gay belly dancer.
Yes, and you should be again.
I
think.
know. I need to get back into it because
So-
I'm not busy already.
No,
I'm not doing anything except sitting here being on shows. So
exactly.
Expressing her
exactly.
opinion.
Well, professional opinion expressors.
That's going to be my new title.
Yes, I like it.
Professional opinion expressor.
POE. Po.
P-O-O-P-P. Oh, O-E-P.
POE.
Same difference.
Po.
I'm back, y'all. Okay, we're going to start out talking real quick about some things that are going on in the next week or so, couple of weeks.
So I wanted to highlight something that's happening August 10th. It's Rally for Removal of Dismantling a Racist Society. And we were just having this conversation about how we need to be more aware about our intersections. And so I think if you're interested in how we can help dismantle racism within our community and within Dallas, it is going to be from 3 to 4 p.m. in the cemetery next to Dallas City Hall on Marilla Street. That's an interesting location.
Have you seen that cemetery? It's very cool. There's a very
No.
historic area right down there where the Stampede statue is.
Yeah.
You go up the hill there.
Oh, I love that. That's
I just
gonna
kinda
Right down the street
discovered
from
it
my house
wandering
if you
around.
ever want to walk there.
Oh, that's right.
And it really is very exciting. And there's a lot to learn there, not only about who's buried there, but about the we'll call it the pioneering of Dallas.
Exactly.
And a lot of the
Wow.
pioneers that built what we know as Dallas are buried there.
That's true.
And
And
it's a very
That's
important
actually
cemetery.
a perfect place because they've been talking about, taking down a lot of the statues around Dallas.
And,
Correct.
and,
So that's an
and
interesting-
before we move on in our agenda, I want to plant this seed of thought for maybe a little bit later. We're talking about dismantling a racist society. And is it really a good idea to hide the history of that if we want to get rid of it? Think about that for
Okay.
a minute, and we'll talk
sit
about
on
it
that.
later.
I think
What
that's
else?
a really good point.
Yeah.
What else have we got going on? You got something to say?
On August 11th, it's the Sing for Dignity. It's the Turtle Creek Corral and Guest. They are going to perform a 24-hour sing-along, a marathon. And it begins at 6 p.m. at the Interfaith Peace Chapel, 5910 Cedar Springs Road. And I want to point out that this is a marathon to support trans community.
I love that.
Bring awareness. Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You know, I love the Turtle Creek Corral.
I do too.
I sang for 10 years, and it was a great time for me. I support what they always do, and they always do such great stuff.
I went for the first time. I actually reviewed Tipsy Topsy or Topsy
you
Turvy, and it was so good. I had such a blast. I was like, "Oh my god, I want to be up there."
Yeah. Yeah.
To do
super
boy
cool.
drag.
That's fine. I do boy drag.
Yeah. Be a drag
Not
king.
really. Yeah.
Well, one of the things that I would like to highlight is anytime I see anything that says disco anything, I'm all about it. And another thing that I love just as much as disco is drag shows. And what can be even better than a drag show than a drag show that is raising money for a really great cause? So on August...
Three really great causes.
for three, because Nia Cortland, Bianca Davenport Starr, their real names, I'm sure, and others, they present songs of the 70s and the 80s to benefit Tucker's Gift, AIDS Walk South Dallas, and the Coalition for Aging LGBT or Rainbow Community. That's my new one. We'll be talking about that in a minute. Yeah, and so that is going to be, there's, the food is at 4, which... It's one of my
Food.
favorite words.
Food.
Next to free.
You're not gonna
You're
change
going to
that?
say 4.
Four is his favorite word.
Yes.
Yes. Show is at 5, and this is at Sue Ellen's. Oh, wait, is that the one you were going to promote? I am so sorry.
That's quite all right. As long as people are talking about it, that's
Oh,
good.
okay, good.
Okay.
Yeah, so that sounds really fun.
That does sound like fun.
Nia Cortland is the current reigning Miss Gay Texas State, which is a pageant that is produced by Lindsay Sorrell
Sable Alexander.
and Sable Alexander, and all of the money that they raise through their pageants go into the community somehow. And I cannot talk highly of those two more.
I'm with you on
and
that.
the great work that they have not only done recently, but have done for decades.
Decades.
Yeah, I agree.
And they are two community members that are really underappreciated and under talked about and undervalued.
And see,
I
and
agree.
this is the part that, and not to throw a negative spin on any of this, but why is it that we know about all of these wonderful things happening, but mainstream Dallas does not? Like the straight community, let's just say, they don't know about what the drag shows give to, and all of these organizations give to this charity and give to this charity. None of that is talked about outside of our community. And why not? Why aren't we pushing for that? Unless I'm just missing it.
Absolutely. And why haven't Lindsay and Sable been nominated for Grand Marshal?
I was
ever?
just going to say that.
They
Ever.
actually have been, because I nominated them. They just didn't make the
didn't make-
final.
They didn't make the final.
And I think that's unfortunate. I
I
really
do, because I feel like there are a few people that were nominated this year that perhaps haven't done a whole lot for our community. So I'm just going to leave
Well,
it.
and at some point, I think the 5 that do get there, they get there through votes, and that's all I'm going to say about
Yeah.
that.
When it comes down to voting for something like this, there's always an element of popularity contest.
Yeah.
Sometimes there's an element of let's get some people together and let's make a point. I'd like to see everybody represented. I was thrilled to see so many people of color,
I was too.
to see female impersonators, transgender people in the nominees this year. Even if they've maybe not done as much as some other people, I think this is last November, Donald Trump got elected in part because the people who don't like Donald Trump were too busy fighting over who had the better candidate, even after we only had one.
Yeah.
So let's, that's a conversation to have. I think, this needs to be an honor for people who have done something for the community, but at the same time, let's not tear down our community to have that conversation. That's my opinion on that.
Yeah.
But again, back to Michael and Bill. Sable Alexander and Lindsay Sorrell are Michael Champion and Bill Lindsay. I've known them since 1989,
Wow.
and they have been doing charity drag their
Wow.
whole lives.
Me
They
too.
put
I've
their
known them
money.
since then.
They take
Yep.
their money out of their pocket
Yeah.
to do these shows. They used to do a thing called Glitz and Glitter. You
Yeah.
remember that?
I do.
They did shows at Jugs, which was my hangout, and I mean they did rehearsals for a month, and once a month they would have their show, and there was production numbers, and it was very inclusive. They had live performers, they had males, they had females, they had female impersonators, male impersonators. They had it all in these shows, and all of the money that they raised. They did one show a year where they got to keep their tips to help pay for their wigs and their makeup and their costumes, but everything else went to the community.
I love that.
Yeah.
Their
I love that.
pageant system now, and Nia Cortland is Miss Gay Texas State,
Correct.
and Bianca is Miss Gay Texas State at large.
large.
So they are the current title holders for both of that. There will be, I think,
Performing. Are they performing?
Yeah, I
Well, and
believe they will
it's
be.
part of their platform that they do these fundraisers, and it's been part of their platform for the state pageant, really, to raise money and awareness, and they are so selfless and tireless about it.
Yeah.
every
and-
one of their preliminaries raises money.
Absolutely.
See, I wish these stories were a part of the news that you would see at 10 o'clock or at 5 o'clock. I wish that,
Covered by the Dallas Morning News and
On-
other
on
mainstream.
the-
They're
I
getting
agree.
better, y'all.
For
They're
the
getting
Rainbow
better.
Minute or the Rainbow
The Rainbow
5
Minute,
minutes or
yeah.
the Rainbow 5
See,
or
that would make such a difference for people to see good things from our community.
It is true, though. I think that's a good idea.
Hi, I'm Ty, and I'm bringing you the Rainbow Minute.
Yeah,
Right here at WFAA.
I like it. I like it.
So, but there are a lot of people out there that and their pageant system each year picks 1, 2, 3, maybe, I'm not sure
Yeah.
how many, but they
Beneficiaries.
choose nonprofits as beneficiaries,
Yeah.
and they raise money. That's part of the duties of their title holders, is to help
love
raise
that.
money and as well as promote their system. And Tucker's Gift, just so you know, is an organization that raises money to help people with HIV take care of their pets. have food and vet service for their
That's
pets.
all you had to say.
Yeah.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, you say pets, animals,
Yeah.
and yeah.
Mhm.
So I mean, I think most people know Age Walk South Dallas. That's Antoine Wiley's organization that raises money for age services, and I think a lot of people know. Even if you're not familiar with, you can figure out what the LGBT Coalition for Aging or Coalition for Aging LGBT. I think you can figure that one out. But Tucker's Gift is to help people with HIV take care of their pets. So,
That's exciting.
Yeah.
Hey, let's go ice skating.
No, it's not ice skating. It's roller skating.
Yay!
I can't do either one.
I used to be an artistic roller skater back when I was 13 and 14. It's like ice skates, but you do it on roller skates. I was a junior Olympic champion. I did flash dance.
Ooh,
So,
excuse me.
Anytime I see
Wow.
roller skating, I'm like, let's go.
Jennifer Brandy Amira Scott.
So Let's Go Roller Skating is happening August 12th. Rainbow Roundup, there's your word, roller skating. And this is going to be at Fort Worth Rollerland West. It's $7.50 per person, and you can Google the address. But I just think that's amazing that there's still roller skating rinks in the world.
Oh, my
Let's go
God.
roller skating.
Yeah.
Rainbow Roundup, by the way, is the the LGBT family organization.
I love it. Well, I can be a
Nice.
kid.
Me
I'm a big
too.
kid.
I don't
I'm a
wanna
big
grow
kid. I
up.
don't want to grow up.
I think
Let's
you're
go
probably young enough to be our child, so
I don't think I could go
go.
roller skating anymore. I
never
don't
could.
think I'm too old. I think my body is.
Every time I try to convince Candace to go, she's like, yeah, no, thank you. I'm
Yeah.
like, fine.
Just get tube socks up over the calves and then put on those roller skates. It doesn't matter if you can do it or not. Just do it just to be seen.
Just
I've
go
ripped
like
my
fully padded.
ACL.
Yeah.
and-
honey, that is an
oh,
e-room
no.
visit waiting to happen right there.
Yeah.
So no surprise birthday roller skating party for Tammy.
I probably,
I'll watch y'all. Y'all skate your asses off. I'll sit up there and cheer.
I probably will, but you've got to play Xanadu.
Oh, yes.
Okay, that's the end of our first segment. Time flies. So y'all, we're gonna have Pet of the Month, I believe. The video is gonna show during the break here, and so we'll be back. Y'all come back.
You hear?
Yeah?
You hear?
Are you going to talk about your word?
Okay, we want to.
Hi, this is Victoria with the SPCA of Texas, and this is the Dallas Voice Pet of the Month. Meet Big Mama. She's one of my closest friends. She's super sweet and very, very gentle, and she's looking for a good forever home. She's about 73 pounds, and she's 7 years old. But don't worry, she has so much love left to give. She's a pit bull mix, and she's looking for a good forever home with someone who can give her the love and the attention that she deserves, because she really is pretty perfect. If you want to find out more about Big Mama, visit the website. The website is www.spca.org. If you have pets at home, you can come on by the Jan Reese Jones Animal Care Center, which is west of downtown Dallas, and even do a meet and greet with Big Mama and see if everybody gets along. She really just needs a home with someone who's going to love her and treat her right. She's come from a really sad situation, so let's give her the home that she deserves. To find out more, again, visit our website. That's www.spca.org, and let's find Big Mama the perfect forever home. Thank you so much for watching the Dallas Voice Pet of the Month, and as always, we appreciate you supporting the SPCA of Texas. Thanks, Big Mama. Yep.
Wait a minute. We're trying to get the clock here.
I had it ready.
This doesn't count towards our time, y'all.
I had it ready to go.
Anyway, speaking of the dog, my dog, our German Shepherd, her name is Akasha. And in case you don't recognize that, that's Queen of the Damned. So anyway, we're going to talk about.
Sorry about the beep.
We've got some information in the Voice this week. A really interesting story that I got a chance to do. Some gay men who went together and they bought a vacation home at 10 acres out in Canton, and they have bees. They're beekeepers now. They have an apiary. It's just they are just getting started, but they plan to harvest, and it's called the Queen Mary Honey
I
Company.
love that. I was looking at the cover story.
Excellent information. Very, very much fun to do. So y'all read about that. And then there's a story that David Taffin wrote about the TCC, the Turtle Creek Corral Sing-Along. And then Arnold Wayne Jones in Our Lifestyles has an extensive review of his recent trip to Vancouver and the tourist possibilities and the fact that Canadians really are much nicer than we are. So.
And Vancouver is so spectacularly
Is it?
Gorgeous.
That's his
It
photos
is.
were amazing.
And you're absolutely right. I think the Canadians are more inclusive. I think they're less judgmental. I think that they, I think that they think more highly of their country, and I think they litter less. I think they're less entitled. I don't want to be a Canadian, but I want us to be more like them.
Well, we know their prime minister is much better looking and
He's a hottie.
more
Yeah.
intelligent than our
He is.
president.
Wasn't the Rolling Stone cover, "Why can't he be our president"?
Oh my God, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
What, we were
And Canada's a beautiful country. If you haven't gone, I mean, you should.
I have
It
not
is
liked
I've just been to
beautiful.
Toronto.
It is
Yeah.
so beautiful.
Toronto's like every gay man's dream. Like, hey, you have to go to Toronto just once.
Yeah, Toronto.
I'm glad I'm not a gay
Hope
man.
was-
Well, I think Montreal is spectacular, and I think Quebec City is steeped in history, and Vancouver is breathtakingly beautiful, and way over, away from Quebec City, of course. But and then it's really beautiful. We should travel more in our own country.
Exactly.
That's very true.
I just took a look at the monitor, and just in case y'all are wondering, the photos on the screen behind us are from the recent Texas Latino Pride Party,
Yeah.
pool party that's in the scene section this week. Y'all check
Hi,
that out.
Jose.
Oh yeah, your head is at a really good placement, Richard.
It is.
Oh my.
I'm glad I let him have my seat this time.
Right.
We're gonna talk about other things now. We're gonna you tell me about your new, what you think we should call our community rather than LGBTQI.
Yeah, absolutely. And by the way, I do have the timer on my phone because I don't know what I pressed on this timer, but I couldn't get it to work, and I thought I can't play.
Israel broke the clock.
Spend the whole segment fiddling with it.
Well, you are the boss, so
Right.
We'll just guess. She's just guess.
She's gonna. Tammy could fire me off the show though.
Right.
But I did. Yes, I do have a term that I hope will catch on because of the fact that the name has already evolved. It started with the gay community, and then it went to the gay and lesbian community, and then to the GLBT community, and then that switched to LGBT community, and now it's LGBTQI, and now it's LGBTQIA.
I think the IA came together, and then at some point they IAA, which the last A is for ally.
What was the other A for?
see, that's what I thought. I thought that's what the
It's
first
for
A was.
asexual.
Oh,
I thought it.
we just represent everybody. All right, what do
Yeah.
you think, though?
Yes, and that's kind of the point.
Yeah, and so because of that, and because of that one episode that we had here at DVTV in Space, where we were talking about the flag in Pittsburgh,
Philadelphia.
Philadelphia.
where they started adding different colors to it. They added brown and black. So I have a feeling that might evolve into another city doing their own, and then we're going to have our own. That I thought we're sort of, it's just getting a little out of hand to where it's tough for even us to keep up with the letters and what they represent. So I thought, you know what, I think it's time that we evolve, and we just call it the rainbow community. which encompasses everything. Because even if there are other letters that we're going to start representing, or somebody identifies as something and we're like, oh, we should include them, we don't have to change anything. You're still under our rainbow. And I think that news segments, when they talk about our community, they could say today, was Pride Weekend, and they celebrated in the rainbow community down on Cedar Springs, blah, blah, blah. And if they talk about any type of bills, the rainbow community today, we're picketing at the blah, 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 instead of them saying LGBT, because they do struggle to get that term right, and sometimes they don't get it right, and they stumble on their words. I see it all the time.
That's true.
So what do you think?
I think it's great. I don't have a problem with it. But at the same time, how are we going to convince everybody to do that?
Right. Just spread the word. I mean,
I honestly don't care. I really don't. But what I think we need to be doing more is stop so much infighting within our own little rainbow community. And I think that I think we are spending way too much time trying to be too inclusive to every little thing that wants to somehow be our ally, or that somehow we need to hold hands with. And I think we do need maybe one word that encompasses that. And I think the rainbow community is probably good, but I don't think it's going to work.
mm-hmm.
I think the gay community, period. At some point, if you just say that you're gay, it doesn't necessarily have to mean that you are a white gay man.
Yeah, and that's what I was saying earlier. It's kind of like how we say Coke in the South. Can I have a
Correct.
Coke? Well, what kind of Coke do you want? Sprite,
Dr.
Pepper. So it's kind of like we've created this one term to be all inclusive. So when you say Coke, you have to ask what kind. So I get the rainbow. I still am a fan of queer. I know that
I am too.
I'm a fan of the word queer. I know that some people have issues with that, but there's always going to be issues with whatever word we choose. We're never going to get to a term that's going to be okay with everybody.
I do think that queer is genderless, where gay has sort of become a gay male identity.
Gay has a gender attached to it.
Yes.
And queer is
And queer doesn't.
Now, we went through those years when the women were fighting to get the L included, and the
Absolutely.
bisexuals. There's been this history of fighting to make sure people are included, because gay for so many people, when you say that word, that's going to put in their head white men.
White male. Mm-hmm.
Do you feel that way, like with the term gay?
I do not give a rat's ass.
Can she say
honestly.
that through Dallas? What's the disclaimer?
Yeah, Tammy's opinions do not necessarily reflect our own.
Right. But see, I don't care. But people do care. And I have a friend, a guy who used to work with me and for me, David Webb. He's in his 60s. Sorry, David. But he has been through many, many decades of fighting and working, and that word queer to him makes his teeth hurt.
And I think
because he was called that with venom.
Exactly.
Right.
And I said earlier that
he cannot see reclaiming that.
No, my deceased partner was on the board of the DGA and voted to include the L.
Mm-hmm. And that was a big deal.
And that was over 20 years ago.
Well, I mean, that was 1989 or 90.
90.
Yeah.
I
was
think it
huge.
was.
So
Yeah.
for
It's a huge
me,
thing.
adding rainbow
Absolutely.
would be like the least likely one to offend anyone or make them feel excluded. Because like queer, some people might be, oh, well, this means this. And then the gay and lesbian, it could represent, gay community could represent all of this, but it doesn't really. I think the least one to cause a problem could be just rainbow. And also my main reason for wanting to use rainbow is not for our community, but for the benefit of everybody else, because they have problems with keeping up with the politically correct letters that we keep adding.
But it's not our job to educate the mainstream society.
Oh.
Like there comes a point.
Well,
but there comes a point that the onus has to be on the people themselves. As a queer brown woman, it's not my job to tell you what is racial and what is not.
Oh no, it is our
Okay,
job.
however,
because they don't want to know.
But
But
within the
it's-
community, the Q was so misunderstood for a very long period of time. Most people thought that the Q was queer, when in actuality it was questioning. And now it is Q, means queer / questioning because so many people misunderstood it, and so we have adopted it as two terms rather than one thing. So I think you're a little wrong.
That's fine. You can totally
I
disagree.
think you're a little wrong. I do think that it is our, even within our community, I think that we have to stop fighting. That doesn't mean that we have to stop schooling.
Tammy,
And-
you were about to say something too, and she said it's not our job to.
It's not necessarily all our jobs. I don't. I think some people.
I agree with it a
I
little.
think that some people. It's my job because I claim it, but I don't think every LGBTQ person has a responsibility to teach other people if they don't want to. Like
I don't
that's
think
not,
every LGBTQIAQA person.
LMNOP.
I'm trying to get them all in there.
Yeah.
I don't think some don't need to try and teach people any damn thing.
But that's what I'm saying. Like
serious.
it's not necessarily.
It is our responsibility as a community to make ourselves understood, or to give them the chance to understand us and be educated on us. It is their responsibility to pay the fuck attention.
But if I'm sitting at a bar and having a drink and somebody calls me a wetback, it's not my job. If I'm just enjoying myself, it's not my job to tell you why that's wrong, why that's a racially profile. You should know that.
No, but I think it is your job to hit him over the head with a beer bottle.
But that's what
Yeah.
I'm saying. I don't have
There
to
you go.
teach.
Can we punch him in the
I don't have to teach.
Learn.
Exactly.
Right. Well, for example, when I go to visit my family in West Texas, they're
that's
not.
exactly what I would do too.
They support me and they support the fact that I'm gay. But when I talk to them about our community, I don't say LGBT because they're not going to remember. I say the gay community.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if I were to say the rainbow community and they know what that means because it's that one simple word that umbrellas all of us, that I think will work, and that's going to help educate them because now they know the term that they are allowed to use. I think people outside of our community are afraid to say LGBT because they don't know if that's the right term now.
And that's why I don't really support the word queer, is because to your family in West Texas, they're immediately going to go, oh my God, the weirdos.
Right. Queer
And-
means
and,
kind of weird.
and
Queer
I'm not
for the straight
offended by
guy.
the word weirdo. I am not
Oh,
offended
I
by the
claim
word
weirdo.
queer.
Yeah, I do too.
I claim weirdo.
But I don't want his family to assume that we're all weirdos.
in that bad connotation.
bad
they
connotation,
would see.
correct.
All the words have so much power.
Yeah.
But the power depends on how that word resonates with the individual person. Something that bothers you does not bother this person.
Right.
Something that bothers this person does not bother you.
But I think that's
And
why
rainbows
it's also,
are happy and pretty.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh my God, it's
I was like,
Christmas.
what?
It's Christmas.
Why don't we just be the smiley face
Is Jesus
community?
mad at us? Is the sky
Smiley face
opening?
community.
Is it snowing?
The shiny, happy people.
Right. But in my family, and I know we're out of time, but we're still going to say this, so screw it. You're talking about going home and your family loves you, they accept you, they support you and protect you in a lot of ways. My family does it too, and I'm from Southeast Texas. I'm just almost swamp people down there, but my family does that for me. But their term, they're not going to say the LGBT community, and they're not going to say the gay community or the rainbow people. Rainbow people is different from them because there's that hippie group
Yeah.
that used to go down there and camp out. The rainbow people is something else. But they're, it's your people. That's my people. But your people.
Why don't
what
we
do your
just call
people
each
think
other
about this?
family? I mean, because that's what, we're all family. Like, what's wrong with that? Family. The family community. Family.
I think we should all just go back to being friends of Judy.
Yeah.
I thought it was friends of Dorothy.
Friends
I'm
of
sorry.
Dorothy.
Either way.
Judy was Dorothy, right?
Yeah, Judy
All right,
Garland was Dorothy.
we really do need to take a break. We really do need to take a break. We'll come back in just a minute and continue the conversation.
And I'm going to try to get
In the old days, when you
As a
wanted a
friend-
home
yeah,
or
and then
auto
we can- some
insurance
people-
quote, you called an insurance agency and they would give you a quote from the company they represented. But when you call the Stephen Graves Insurance Agency, Stephen gets quotes from all the companies he represents, bringing you the best coverage at the best possible price. For home or auto,
Call 877-599-0808. Stephen Graves Insurance.
I think we're back on. I think we're back on the air, everybody. So. I can't spell friends. So anyway, we are talking about identifying our community, and do we even need to identify our community? Should we have to do that?
I think we should self-identify.
I
I'm
do
a
too.
proprietor of just self-identification.
I think
I do
people.
too.
I think people need it.
Proprietor?
Well, and I agree with you, and I think we do. I think because I'm a marketing person, because of my films that I've just had to train myself to market it to the masses of who's going to write, what title should I use for this editor to put it in their newspaper, for this blogger to put it on their blog. And for me, I'm thinking about the mainstream world, which is what 90% of the world. Are we now up to 10% of BNR?
They think that's the general.
Yeah.
10%.
So for me, it's like what's going to be the easiest for them to understand out there to identify us when they're talking about our community. That's the only reason I feel we need a term.
I don't know if any of y'all have seen the very public arguments that my father and I have had on Facebook, but my father believes that I have been brainwashed by an organization that is entitled the LGBTQ.
Seriously?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
I've not seen the argument.
I'm glad, but it's people have asked me to block him, and why don't I? And I don't, because I am not ashamed of anything that I post. And so he is my father, and he is allowed to come to my Facebook page, and I even allow him to comment, as horrible as some of the comments are. He reminds me that in Iran I would be dragged through the city and flogged and
thrown off a building.
Thrown off a building, and he
reminds you about that because why? What is that supposed to do? Change you back?
Something. I'm not really sure what. I'm never really quite sure what his arguments are for. And they are steeped in a lot of Obama rhetoric, and as he calls him, the Obummer, and we have publicly fought on Facebook, and one thing that happened this last time on my Richard D. Curtin, he unfriended me and blocked me, or unfriended me, and then sent me a friend request the next day, and I did not accept it. Because, one, I didn't delete him. He deleted me, and so now I'm not accepting. But now he's gone in on the Edna Jean Facebook page, and he's working that angle now.
What is it that he wants from you? I'm not exactly sure why this rant is happening.
He wants me to see it his way,
and to be straight.
and that is the Trump way. No, I don't think that he really wants me to be straight. But I do think that he thinks that I should wake up to the Trump agenda and to the way the future looks, and how bright it looks to him and how bleak it looks to me. And he is a diehard Trump supporter.
Now, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Well, in this case, do you feel, going to what Brandy was saying, do you feel that it's your job to educate him when you're having these back and forths, or how do you handle it?
We go back and forth.
Okay.
I am unashamed in my proud gay maleness, and my drag queen, and I am not ashamed of anything that I do, and I give it to him. I let him know what my truth is. And he's telling me what his truth is. And I can't really be mad at his truth if he believes it is his truth. Right. I believe that my father might respect my truth a little, but thinks that his truth is more respectable.
But that's what I'm saying. You're like, there's a difference between being proud, a proud out gay drag queen male, like that, being proud, versus trying to convince him and educate him in a way that he is not being open to. You don't need to waste your energy, because you are already doing so much and expending so much energy out within our community. So that's kind of what I'm saying. It's not necessarily like you're getting into these arguments, you're expending your energy, but he's still living out and proudly. But it's not his job to try to convince his father and teach him that what he's saying is wrong. It's not my job for all these Trump supporters who are completely closed off to try to teach them otherwise. because they're not open to it. My job is to teach the people that perhaps are on the fence or are curious or open to learning. And that's where the focus for me is.
I think it is our job to be ourselves and to prove that who we are. I mean, unless you're, like some serial killer or rapist or robber, that's not something to be proud of. Y'all know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
Who we are as people, as gay people, lesbians, queer, dyke, whatever word we want to use, that's who we are. This is our lives. This is our truth.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, this
Yes.
is our truth. And there's nothing wrong with our truth. And I'm going to live my truth. And I'm going to talk about my truth. And I'm going to express my opinion.
Yes.
And I'm going to tell you, what I think.
Well,
And that's the way we educate.
And I think that
Yes,
is
by
screaming
living
at
our
people.
lives. Yes.
I
that's-
think that is really important, and I think growth only comes with respect.
I agree completely.
I don't expect my father to be different. I don't expect him not to be a Christian.
Right.
I don't expect him. What I do expect from him is to respect that I have a life, that I have a truth, and that I have a passion.
That I'm a good person.
and that
living
I'm
my-
good,
Yeah.
and I
Living
do
my
good
life.
things,
Right.
and that he should have pride in that, even if he disagrees with the Christian base.
the manner in
Right.
which
Well,
you're-
and at the same time, Brandy, there, this whole gender spectrum thing, it started because one of my friends, who's like pretty much a Bible thumper, his name is Warren. He said I could say his first name. He's a friend of mine on Facebook, and he's always anti everything that I say. And but we do a banter, but we're still friends. We just give our opinions. It wasn't until he had posted a meme that said LGBT doesn't the B mean two? So how is it that they can have, gender fluidity? And of course I ranted and I was like, that's because, it's not to confuse you guys and blah, blah, blah. And it wasn't until I slept on it and I was like, you know what? Let me research this a little more. And he was right. That word needs to evolve somehow. And I wasn't wanting to learn something from this person
Yeah.
that I normally yell at. So if that happened to me, I'm hoping that even though I assume that this community over here does not want to learn anything about us, it might be one word that I say or a phrase that I say that sort of absorbs and they don't even realize it. And then they're like, huh.
But y'all are friends. Y'all have that relationship. I'm
Right.
talking about random strangers who you don't know and you don't already have a pre-established relationship with, and they're coming from that hateful place.
Gotcha.
It's not my job to meet you with love when you're spreading hate to me. You see what I'm saying? That's
Sure.
Being open to other, opinions and dialogues and conversations with a friend who you know and have that relationship, that back and forth with your father. Y'all are blood related. You have some kind of tether to each other. So that's a whole completely different experience than some random person or me going to a bar and some random person coming and having this on me. I'm talking about those instances, not necessarily the ones where you have educational banter between diverting opinions.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I'm going to talk a little bit about how this conversation we're having about interacting with people outside our community needs to dovetail with the idea of how we're working within our community. It's okay to laugh. See, Chad, I did it.
I didn't know. I was like, you sounded so serious. I was like, okay, Brandy, poker face.
But we're gonna have to break here in a minute. But I want
poker
us to come back and talk about this because it does. There is that intersection of how are we going to do this within our community? Okay.
agree.
Because there are people within our community that are going to be angry with you for using the word queer. There are people that are going to be angry if you don't use it. There's people that are angry and are going to be very upset with Dallas Voice because we say LGBTQ or LGBT and we don't include the Q
Or
the
I,
I
or
or
the
the
A.
A's or any of that. And we're not being inclusive, and that's not. We do and are being inclusive. That's our purpose is to be inclusive. But
And sometimes I think our ability to be inclusive is never going to succeed the expectation.
exactly,
Yeah.
but we have to talk about how we see each other within the community and how we support each other within the community, and that comes into play with the idea of the black community not supporting black trans women, and that's a big topic right now with the Breakfast Club. So we're going to take a break. When we come back, I do want to talk about that.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
That sounds
Okay, I think we're back, and we're getting back from break. And by the way, friends are Quakers.
Ah.
And
So-
I thought they were Amish.
Yeah. So, but I want to talk about within our community and supporting the different segments of our community. And Richard, you will know about, at least remember the stories about back in the way back days when you know, if you were going to go to a certain bar, you know, you had to wear the closed-toed shoes, and people of color had to have 5 different,
Yes.
you know,
IDs.
IDs.
Sometimes
And
you had
I'm
to know
actually
the door
writing
that you were
about
supposed
that
to go
in my
to.
article.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah?
actually writing
Oh.
about that in my article that's coming out
And
for
then,
the Pride
but then
issue.
then you know there are
No deodorant.
yeah, yeah.
What?
Some,
Oh yeah, some bars required that you did not have cologne, and that that you were not wearing deodorant.
Some of the
Really
leatherish,
hardcore leather Eagles.
Dang.
Yeah.
yeah.
That if you smelled like you were wearing anything, you got turned away at the door.
They still don't. Some of them still don't want you to wear cologne. I mean, I understand that. The cologne makes me have headaches.
There's a
sometimes.
couple in San Francisco.
Yeah.
That are still operating.
That's right.
With some of those
Some of those rules, yeah.
tags and rules. So, yeah.
But you know, and then there were bars where I think some of the white people didn't feel comfortable going to. I never had a problem going there, you know, but you know, our women weren't accepted in some of the bars that were supposed to be all men. Some of the women's bars didn't want men in there, and
Yep.
you know, it's and
Drag
we-
queens weren't accepted in a lot of them.
That's exactly
Women
right.
and male. Right.
That's exactly right. You know, and we do this within ourselves and within our own community, and we're so rude to each other sometimes within our own community, you know, whether it's, you know, you have to have the right clothes to go here or to hang out with this crowd or, you know, and
For the longest time, you know, I remember growing up, and you know, someone would go, "Well, you know, he's gay," and we were both gay, and it was like, well,
okay.
yay,
He's on my team.
Because really, on like George Michael and
Uh-huh.
and Boy George, when they first hit the scene, I mean, I heard so many times, well, you know, they're gay, and it was like,
Yay.
yes,
Okay.
yay.
Why do you
mean,
think I
let's-
liked him so much?
Right,
and,
yeah.
and of course, I mean, I think I was probably guilty of it, you know, because I grew up and my mother would go, "Oh, Liberace, you know, he's like this," and,
Yeah, I
and
know,
I
and they
knew,
loafers.
and I knew that
Yeah.
meant that was bad.
Sugar in his
Yeah.
tank.
That
That
was
was one of the
bad.
expressions.
Tinkerbell from Three's Company, Mr. Roper. We
Yeah.
always do this, ringing a bell.
And when I was 16, my mother asked me, "Are you like this?" And I said, "Oh."
You said, no, I'm like
please."
this.
And she laughed out loud.
Yeah.
You know,
And that's
so-
what you need.
Well, I know that even like when I'm not going to name any particular events, but there are certain holiday events that because of PC issues, they don't want drag queens to be a part of this or to be seen very much.
Or the leather scene.
Or fashion, certain fashion shows. Some years they might not want a drag queen to go down the runway, so, and a lot of these organizations are run by gay people.
You're so sly.
Well, I mean, DIFA. I mean, so many times I was involved very early into the DIFA. And then they were like, no drag queens are ever going to walk our stage ever again. Our runway is going to be drag free. But
Seriously,
that happened in the early to mid 90s, and it started where drag queens were allowed, and then they were pulled, and then they were brought back in, and then again just recently, Jan Stripple brought us back in when she took it back over, but it's been an up, and we are in, we're out, we're in, we're out.
Whatever's in fashion.
And I think that's also, this whole divisiveness within ourselves, this whole idea of like this certain sect of this community doesn't want, go-go boys in their underwear on Pride or in the streets or representing us as a community. But we're both we're all of that, and like I always say, if I'm not a fan of an organization, we need them, but we also need the grassroots. You need both in order for our community to succeed.
We don't get to tell somebody else how to be gay, or lesbian, or what do you need to, don't tell me what I have to call myself.
Right.
That ain't your damn business.
Well, here's the issue, because my business partner John and I, we just had this discussion yesterday talking about gay pride coming up in the parade, and he said, I'm okay with these certain floats, but then when they're up there in their underwear, I said no, they can do whatever they want. He said, no, I agree with you. He says, but when media covers it, all they're going to get is the bear in leather in a bathtub, and they're going to get the little go-go boy dancing in hardly anything, and that's how they're going to represent our parade.
But that's still not our problem.
It's not, but in a way,
still not.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
I absolutely agree. But marketing-wise, and knowing that they want to get ratings, and it doesn't matter if it's hate mail or what, as long as people are watching, they're going to focus on that. So how can
why do we care?
Yeah, that's how I feel.
But that's what they're told to go get.
Go
get
I don't care.
something that's going to ruffle feathers.
I do not give a rat's booty what mainstream society thinks of me. I do not effing care at all.
I do not care.
I don't care.
I do care in a way, because I want to be able to say, I'm not a monster. I'm not some boogeyman under the bed or
I care.
Out of the closet. I almost
I care about laws, though. That
Exactly.
is I care about the law.
Well, I want to
Pride
dovetail two
is-
laws. And at some point,
what was the hand thing?
dovetail.
but I mean, at some point, we can have all those nakedly clad boys, or very
Scantily clad.
scantily clad boys. But what we can't have is them in a sturgid state, because that is a law.
There.
You cannot be in underwear in a sturgid state in public. And so that's where the Tavern Guild really has a really hard and difficult choice to make, because they do have to say it is the law that you cannot be in public in a sturgid state if you were in underwear. And a sturgid state basically means an erectile, functioning young man.
Yes, but at the same time that I don't care about mainstream American, how they care about us as well. What I want is for them, I want to challenge the media networks. I want to challenge Channel 5 News, Channel 8 News, and say, represent
to only get the nicey nice?
Well, not necessarily, but represent. If you're going to interview, have like 2 or 3 interviews for your segment, get a diverse group instead of only
That
the
I
ones.
agree with.
Oh,
I want to challenge them
y'all
to
think
do
about
that.
this. Well, it ain't just us. First of all, let me say this. Pride is our party. And I don't really care if somebody else likes the way we have a party.
I agree.
All right? But then, they're going to come and just get the Tootie Boys in their drawers, or the drag queens, or the leather people, whatever. What happens when they have a tornado? Y'all think about it. Do they go find the businessman in the suit and tie who talk about, yes, and I was standing on my patio and I saw this huge cloud coming in. And
I like your
said,
impression of that.
Marge, honey, grab the children.
No,
get in a
it's
safe
like,
place. No, they
That
find
is
somebody
true.
with no
It's-
teeth.
I
and
got
a wife beater.
bronchitis. Ain't nobody got time for that.
Yeah.
Exactly. They do
Exactly.
that on purpose.
That's
Yeah.
true. That's true.
I
It doesn't
think that
matter
we
what it
all
is.
have to stop being mad about what is on the television and celebrate that they covered it.
There
Yeah.
you go. Yes,
Yeah,
thank you.
Absolutely. That's true.
This
That's
is
true.
us. And yes, we are having a party, y'all, and we might get a little out of hand, and that's all right because it's a party.
It's a party.
Yeah.
And we have permits.
Yay.
Yeah.
Yes.
We have permits.
Yeah.
and we do have to follow the law. I
We
mean, I
do.
do think that but
Absolutely.
everybody has to follow the law.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But I mean, don't. We just got to get away from telling each other how to be gay.
That-
What we can.
yeah.
You are just being mean and disrespectful because you don't, say this. Or
Girl.
you don't
Yeah,
use
you
that.
don't want to say LGBT.
What are you
Yeah,
wearing?
you want
Right.
to, yeah.
Well, when we were talking earlier about what our job is and what it isn't, with me now having the studio, I'm going to plug myself real quick, 96% full. So we only have 2 rooms left. Is now that I have, let's just say 100 people under me, I don't hide. I don't hide
Let's
that
dovetail,
I'm I don't hide that I'm gay. I'm very open about it. And I use that for them to see because they see me as their boss. And a lot of them call me sir and a lot of them call me boss. And I use that for them to know, there are drag queens out there. There are half-naked boys in parades, but there's also, if you want to call me normal, I'm so not normal, but someone that you can see as a business owner as well. And there's,
But you are
it's
normal.
Everybody.
But you really are very normal. And I'm glad to see that finally you've got a job. But I mean, but if you look at yourself on paper, you put your age, you're a male, you're Hispanic, at some point, all of your bullets are going to be normal. And every bit of it is what we strive to do. We strive to get up in the morning and go to work and to be successful and to have extra money so that we can order an extra movie in the weekend or buy that glass of wine or go to that dinner that costs too much or buy that suit. And it is all normal. Everybody is just normal.
Yeah.
Okay, there's a song. We're gonna have to go to a break now, aren't
You
we?
are
Very
beautiful.
quick. That
we
one
have
too.
a minute and a half still.
Okay, well we're gonna go to break, but there's no Willie Nelsie.
That's what I'm going to call.
Willie
Never mind.
Nelsie.
That's a good way to dovetail.
Nelly Willie.
To the judge.
Yes, Willie Nelson's song. It is the line is, "I may not be normal, but nobody is," and that to me, and I remember that from when I was a kid listening to that song, and I did that. It's screw you. Don't tell me I'm not normal.
Exactly.
You ain't normal either,
Yeah.
bitch.
Right.
Oh, I like this tab.
It is.
Right?
I know.
It is normal for me.
This is my
This
normal.
is my normal.
This
Yep.
is my normal. So
I like that
don't-
hashtag. This is my normal.
Hashtag dovetail. This is my normal.
okay, let's go ahead and go to break. We'll come back. Are you gonna? Have we played the wedding expo? All right, we're gonna play a wedding expo video during the break with Brandy and then
Oh,
our
yeah, I
absent
still
Brad.
haven't seen it.
You haven't seen
Our
it?
absent
No.
Brad, mentally absent. Yeah.
Our absent Brad, and it's at the wedding expo and party a couple of weekends
So
ago.
much
So
fun.
it's really a good video,
So
y'all.
much
Check it out.
What's up, DVTV fans? Brad here, and love is in the air. That's right, today we're at the Hilton Anatole covering all of your LGBT wedding needs. With over 65 exhibitors covering cake assistance to clergy needs, this event has it all. Let's check it out.
Here, all of these flowers are handmade.
Honey, this caught my eye. How long does something like this take from concept to completion?
The flowers are all handmade, so probably about a month. And then the cake is the easy part on this one because you just bake that a few days in advance and you're done. But the flowers are all handmade of sugar.
Oh my gosh. So you can eat this. This is edible.
Yeah.
Wow. What kind of sugar high are you going to be on after something like that?
Really, really high. Yeah, really.
We like that. So, okay, I can't stand back here and not try something, okay? Okay, I'm gonna have you hold the microphone
Okay.
for me because
There
you
we
know
go.
what kind of food tasting is without any commentary, right? So what am I eating right now?
This is white champagne cake with buttercream frosting. That's what we like to see.
We make liquid nitrogen ice cream on site at the reception as an entertainment, different kind of dessert to offer, something really unique for the wedding.
Oh my God, it's like the witch's cauldron, honey. I love this. So what is that doing right now?
It's actually just freezing our ice cream to minus 321 degrees inside our tank, so it freezes the ice cream instantly and makes a really quick dessert ready to serve, and it's ready. It's like try a sample of our Kahlua.
Would I like to try a sample of the Kahlua? I mean, come on, absolutely. It's orgasmic, and I don't even know if we can say that on DVTV.
Everything, all of the floral is the heart of my business.
Okay.
We do everything in-house. I sketch. Once the guests start coming in to me, we do a design consultation. I'll sketch it all out for them. Come up with really interesting color schemes to help make it the Josh W. brand.
Okay, cake check, venue check, guest list check. You need something to wear, right? Well, my friend Missy here will take care of you. So what is it that you do? We have these beautiful garments behind you. What is it that you do?
So we are a rental business. In fact, we are the only bridal gown rental business in Dallas. We rent tuxedos, we rent bridal gowns, flower girl dresses, and more.
You know, it's something that the guys do all the time because we tend to be cheap, but I've really never thought about renting a wedding gown. That's smart. It's like rent the runway, right?
Correct, but better. Instead of going out and spending $2,000 on a bridal gown with your veil and all the garments that need to go with it, you can come to us and rent one from $75 to $400.
Girl, you're balling on a budget now, honey. You got this down. Okay, fans, I'm so excited because we have some big news to share with the Dallas Voice team. So, instead of staring at my face all the time, we have now.
Beautiful face, though.
Well, thank you. That's why you've gotten far in life. It's comments like those, Brandy. We have Miss Brandy Sky with us right now.
Hello, DVTV. How are you?
She's joining us as a new correspondent. So we'll be hitting the streets together for all of your events, all of your openings, all your expos. Brandy, tell everyone watching, if they don't know who you are, a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm Brandy Mars Sky. I've been in Dallas for a little over a decade. I'm a drag queen, and I also do DVT and Spayse on Fridays. I'm also a writer for the Dallas Voice, and I'm working on my first book.
Honey, she does it all. We walked through this gig already, and 15 people have stopped her to say hello. So I think between the two of us,
I think we got it covered.
we have it covered.
This is Access 360. This is DFW's only slow motion 360-degree photo booth. And stand on the pedestal. The video is actually going to revolve around you. So the pedestal doesn't move.
I was waiting to sign a waiver, honey. I was like,
So I'm the owner of the company, a very special day. We do lighting, we do drapery, we do DJs, entertainment, and videography.
What I love about your company is people sometimes forget about the entertainment aspect of a wedding. You know, it's not all about the cake and the dress and the food. You got to have fun too, right?
Oh yeah, so we've come with some very innovative things to make sure that your guests not only leave with something in their pocket like a photo, or they can go look at a video that they can enjoy for years to come, a little short, fun, crazy slow motion video lounge.
How much fun was this today? We are sitting here in style, exiting primelimo.com if you want to check out how to get this lovely vehicle for your special event. Brandy, did you have fun?
I had a blast. If you weren't here, you missed a great party and some awesome vendors, too.
Seriously, and to check out all the listing of the vendors, simply go to this week's edition of Dallas Voice. It's in the center section. You can see all the lovely exhibits that were here today. Brandy, I'm going to toss it to you for our first outro.
I'm super excited. It's the first time I've ever sang this DVTV from your local scene from our local scene. Let me try it again. Hold on.
From the local scene.
From the local scene to your computer screen.
You got to pop your cherry sometime. I'm Brad.
I'm de-virginized. I'm Brandy.
Bye.
Okay, so we're back. Y'all just saw Brandy there on her very first DVTV on the Scene video segment. It was really good.
From the local scene to your computer screen.
There you go.
Finally.
So, but we were talking about, discrimination and bigotry within our community, and I hate to say this, but we get a lot of, if we have a black person on our cover, we get people who complain about that.
Do you really?
Yes. And I think and I'm like, I don't really care whether you like that or not.
Wait,
I'm not.
It's bees.
The bees are black.
We're probably going to get some anti-bee hate mail, quite frankly.
But do you really? You
yes, we
you
really
get
do.
mail?
Not necessarily mail, but comments.
When you get comments, what do they say?
Oh, I'm not. It's just.
I've seen them. At some point, I don't read comments anymore because I don't want to be reminded how mean, how ugly, and how nasty people can be.
I mean, I didn't know if they had a reason like, oh, that person, I don't agree with their political beliefs, or is it just
how dare you put black people on the cover of the newspaper?
What?
It's ridiculous.
Really?
It is, and it horrifies me and makes me mad. I mean, my blood pressure goes up and I turn red and start sweating. I get so mad about it. But that again, we're going to dovetail with a different conversation, or a similar conversation, and it's about the controversy that's going on right now over comments made by comedian Lil Duval on the Breakfast Club radio show out of New York. It's on iHeartRadio.
Let's not even promote them.
Well, I'm not promoting them. I'm saying this is on there, and it was horrible.
Yeah, it's these people that have a show, and it's called the Breakfast Club. That's it.
Yeah,
because they're not.
Yeah, but they did this, and he basically said that if he found out that a woman he was dating or had been dating was transgender, then she would die.
Yeah.
Well, or he would die.
He would kill her.
Well, they actually even brought up the scenario, just a hypothetical scenario, and of course their scenario was, hey, what would you do if she tricked you and you found out after you were in, not only like dating her, but you were in love with her at this moment, and then she said she was a dude. It's like, why that storyline?
Yeah.
Why? Because that's what.
Well,
it
was dovetailed, and I said that meaning it
Yeah.
with the earlier appearance there on the show with Janet Mock, who is a transgender woman who was there promoting her book. But this goes on, and I've gone and I've read some of the comments, like on this guy's Twitter feed, and comments about on stories about this, and it's horrifying to me to see the level of hatred that is aimed at transgender people. And I think maybe I'm wrong about this, but I think that the female to male transgender men seem to pass more easily a lot of times, and are therefore not targeted as much. But
I feel the same way. I think because you're transitioning into a point of privilege, you're going from female to male, so you're going into a place of privilege, as opposed to going from a place of privilege and going backwards. And I don't necessarily think in a misogynistic society people understand, especially men, don't understand what that is. And I think a lot of that hatred stems from not understanding, from also other black women not coming out in support of their trans sisters, or
women in general.
And women in general, but I can't remember who came out. There was an article, I don't know if it was D.L. Hughley, I can't remember. Somebody came out and wrote an article and said, where are the black women on this trans issue? Because, trans women, and you're expecting Latino women, white women to come to your aid and all this. Where are you when we need your help? And I get that, because it needs to be a both and. If you want our help, we need you to help our community as well. And so I think, and it was a really powerful article, and I'll send it to you so you can put a link in a show notes or whatever. But it's really good.
When I see the segment, because when I saw the article about it, they had a clip of their show. I was watching it, and of course, I started getting mad. But then I thought, you know what? Let me just see this as an educational thing. There are people who think this outside of our community. What are we going to do about it? Because they exist, and there's probably a lot of them. So what can we do about it? And I think you're right. Get someone out there to represent, or get someone out there that's going to speak up. Get someone out there that they relate to, that could possibly be one of their own peers, and say, this is not cool. I have a cousin, or I have a sister who's transgender.
And it is. It's all of, if not all of, the trans women that have been murdered have been women of color. So it is their sisters. It is their black sisters who are being murdered.
Yeah.
And so that's why it's so important for the females of color to come out in support of their trans, women of color that are dying on the streets.
Violently,
I mean,
all the
violently.
time.
Violently.
16.
We've had 16 transgender people murdered this year. The 16th was T.T. Dangerfield in Atlanta. I think it was Sunday night, Monday
And
morning.
that's probably just reported.
Yes, that's just the
Exactly.
reported. The ones are not dead named and misgendered in reports. We're
Correct.
coming to the end, but I want to say this, and we're talking about how the black women of color, cisgender women of color need to come out and support transgender women. But our community has got to step up, and we got to quit making transgender people the butt of our jokes, and we do it way too much. And this is our responsibility, and I think that if we don't all, as a community, as a rainbow family, stand up and start, making a point of, if it's uncomfortable for you, then step outside your damn comfort zone, challenge yourself a little bit, reach out there, know that this is someone that is part of our community. Some of these women that are transgender that are killed, they're killed by so-called straight men.
Mm-hmm.
And why are they killed? Because this is a dude in a dress and they made me feel a little bit gay.
Mm-hmm.
They're not dudes in dresses,
Mm-mm.
but the idea that they might have made you feel a little bit gay makes it okay for you to kill them. So that's one step away from killing you,
Mm-hmm.
or you or me, any of us.
Yep.
What is happening to our transgender brothers and sisters? I think there's been one trans man maybe killed this year. Mostly it's transgender women of color. But what's happening to our transgender brothers and sisters is happening to all of us, whether we admit it or not. And we have got to stand up as a community, as a rainbow family, if that's what we want to call it. And we've got to do something about it. And there cannot be butts of our jokes. They're our family too. And we got to do something about it.
I agree.
And we're going to take a break and we'll be right back.
We're dovetailing to our break.
In the old days, when you wanted a home or auto insurance quote, you called an insurance agency and they would give you a quote from the company they represented. But when you call the Stephen Graves Insurance Agency, Stephen gets quotes from all the companies he represents, bringing you the best coverage at the best possible price. For home or auto,
Call 877-599-0808. Stephen Graves Insurance.
Okay, we're back, and we're not going to use derogatory language. All right, we got to wrap things up. We're a 2-minute thing, aren't we?
Yes.
Okay, we're gonna wrap things up. I'm gonna start with Israel. Promote yourself, my friend.
Hi. I am very proud to announce that on August 28th, I haven't even put this on Facebook yet, we are having the very amazingly big, highly anticipated film, Kicking Zombie Ass for Jesus, at the Texas Theater. We're going to have the cast and crew there. We're going to fly in Willem as well. Richard's going to be there, I'm sure.
I believe.
Yeah, and it's I think we need this, especially with everything that's going on right now with the whole Trump administration thing. The synopsis is pretty much there's been a zombie apocalypse in a small Texas town. The survivors barricade themselves in a building and then realize it's half made up of the rainbow community and the other half is Bible thumpers. There you have it.
It's bound to be a damn good time. I'm Brandy Amar Sky, and you can find me at brandyamarsky.com. And my all-new podcast is starting next week.
Before she said nude.
That was on your show.
Yes.
It's not nude. Defypodcast.com.
You get more people watching.
I know, right?
I'm Richard D. Curtin. You can find me at richarddcurtin.com. You can find me on Richard D. Curtin Facebook and Edna Jean Dallas on Twitter and Instagram. And I proudly have lost 30 pounds.
Yeah.
And I think I have 10 more to go. So the key is to eat.
Yes.
It is. It is.
It is.
Nice. You would think it was counterintuitive, but it's not.
So your body, you want to trick your body into storing up calories that you don't need, right?
Right.
When you don't
Make good choices when you eat too.
Right.
Make good
Not just
choices.
eat, but eat right.
Yeah.
I am Tammy Nash. I'm managing editor for Dallas Voice, and I have probably not lost any damn weight, although I need to. We need to do this. But we do DVTV in Spayse every Friday right here. And we have DVTV on the scene coming up.
Hashtag dovetail.
Don't you all have a new website?
Not yet.
Oh.
We were supposed to.
Okay.
We are in the process of redesigning our website, dallasvoice.com. It's going to be very pretty. It's going to look really great. It's very much more modern and sleek and
awesome.
User friendly, I think. And it was supposed to launch today, but we didn't want to launch and have some problems, so I think next Friday maybe.
Awesome.
But watch dallasvoice.com for details. It'll be there. So anyway, thank y'all for being here today. We appreciate it. Come back next Friday and listen to us complain and gripe and argue about something else.
Voice our concerns.
Right. I like complain and gripe and bitch.
Opinions.
About whatever is on our mind next Friday. So we'll see you then. Thank y'all.
Bye.
Bye.